wage laws? What if every 50 years the economy reset? Not a recession, not a market correction, a deliberate, legally mandated, trumpet-announced reversal of accumulated inequality. Debt canceled, land returned, servants freed, generational poverty structurally prevented, not by charity, not by revolution, but by design. That's the Jubilee, and it's one of the most radical ideas in the entire Bible, which is saying something because the Bible contains some genuinely radical ideas. Leviticus 25:10, consecrate the 50th year and proclaim liberty throughout the land to all its inhabitants. It shall be a Jubilee for you. Each of you is to return to your family property and to your own clan. Every 50 years, return, reset, release. Here's why this matters economically. In any system where land can be bought and sold, without restriction, wealth concentrates. The productive buy more. The struggling sell what little they have. Within a few generations, a small number of families own most of the land and everyone else works it for them. That pattern has repeated itself in virtually every civilization in human history. The Jubilee interrupted the pattern. It said, you can sell land, but what you're really selling is a lease, a temporary transfer of use for however many years remain until the Jubilee. Leviticus 25:23 makes the theological foundation explicit. The land must not be sold permanently because the land is mine and you are only foreigners and strangers. The land is mine, not yours, not the wealthy landowners, not the crowns, God's. And because it was God's, it couldn't be permanently alienated from the families he had given it to. The poor couldn't be permanently dispossessed. The rich couldn't permanently consolidate. Every 50 years, the trumpet sounded and the whole system exhaled. Generational poverty wasn't just addressed, it was structurally prevented. Now, scholars debate how consistently the Jubilee was actually observed in Israel's history. The evidence suggests it was more aspiration than consistent practice, and that failure echoes through the prophets. Amos raging against the wealthy who buy the poor for a pair of sandals. Isaiah condemning those who add field to field until no space is left. Israel's tragedy was that they had the blueprint and refused to follow it. But the Jubilee's failure in practice doesn't diminish its significance in principle because Jesus quoted it, Luke 4:18-19. Jesus stands in the synagogue in Nazareth, unrolls the scroll of Isaiah, and reads, "The Spirit of the Lord is on me because He has anointed me to proclaim good news to the poor. He has sent me to proclaim freedom for the prisoners and recovery of sight for the blind, to set the oppressed free, to proclaim the year of the Lord's favor." The year of the Lord's favor, that's Jubilee language. Jesus wasn't just making a spiritual metaphor. He was announcing that what the Jubilee had always been pointing toward had finally arrived. Not a 50-year economic reset, but an eternal liberation. Not canceled debt on paper, but canceled debt at the cross. Not freed servants walking home, but captives walking into the kingdom of God. The Jubilee was always a shadow. And the substance finally stood in the synagogue in Nazareth and said, "Today this is fulfilled."